Well, hello there, motherfuckers. Well, I said it. I said, please don't ruin it. Please take full advantage of Roman Reigns. And, well, here we go with the Raw review. So it's Raw after Mania, probably the most overrated Mania. The fans are in full effect. They're some of the same fans from, WrestleMania. And you're always going to have that same type of fallout. Obnoxious fans chanting stupid shit. They're bored out of their minds with a boring show. And so what do? They come there anyway and they just try to fuck up the show with their nonsense. They try to make it all about them. So Reigns comes out. Everybody's booing the shit out of him. Stands in the center of the ring. It's like 10 minutes before he even gets to talk, and he says, "This is my yard now." Then he just throws the mic down and he leaves. Now, I understand that approach, but at this point, I expect more. Really, this is a big event. One line is not going to cut it, folks. This is why I look at this whole entire show that I have it written down, and I'm not seeing a lot of difference here. It was a good Mania, it was an enjoyable Mania, but after Mania, it's like back to business as usual. We're going to have the same type of cookie cutter nonsense. Nothing big is going to happen. You're going to have a few new champions. Finn Balor will end up obviously winning the Universal title at some point. They're going to give in to the fans. They're going to keep running this show like it's an indie promotion. We know how it's going to go. So to get excited about it, to say that, now that Angle is the GM, it's going to be safe. So let's just get to the show. They should have did so much more. Reigns should have harped on the fans more. They should have turned him full heel. He should have talked about retiring Taker. But it's missed opportunity after missed opportunity, which is per usual for WWE and creative. This is why I got down literally on my hands and knees and begged them to please not fuck this up. And what do? They already start going that way. Now, like I said, it's okay, the big reaction and all that, but we knew there was going to be a strong response to Reigns, and there definitely was. But once again, the announcers, these dreadful announcers. After hearing JR on commentary last night, I didn't even mention this in my Mania review. He called the Taker Reigns match. What a treat to hear JR back on there, and you really get to hear just what we had been missing all these years. McMahon's fucking ego, the fact that he couldn't just put his ego to the side. JR should have never left that announce booth. The fact that Cole was put as the leading man is a fucking joke, because you hear the difference of JR and Michael Cole. Michael Cole didn't even have to be there last night. They should have just let JR call the whole thing. Why not have JR call WWE for the rest of his days? Because he is the only one who knows what he's doing in that commentary booth. He is the only person who knows how to put stars over. He's the only one who knows how to tell a story. He's the only one who could take nothing and turn it into something. That man's words are magic. He has taken nobodies and turned them into somebodies just by using his own words. So, I don't understand what Cole is still doing out there. Cole, what is Brian Sex Addict doing out there, for fuck's sakes? How is he allowed to sit in that booth to this day and pretend to be an announcer? I mean, both of these goofballs. Corey Graves is okay. He's obviously the best one out there. He's the only one who's even trying to establish his own voice. The other two goofs. Michael Cole, this guy has spent how many years now? 20 years in WWE. And he is still the same shitty announcer he started off as. The only time this guy ever appeared to be decent is when they paired him up with somebody who was truly great on the mic, like Taz or JBL. If it was anybody other than that, then, it was a losing effort. Or the King, for God's sakes. I mean, you had the King come back to call a match. You had JR, and you saw how much better. Why wasn't it the King and JR calling that last match last night? They should have been there for Taker's last match when they have called half the man's fucking career. And you're still going to tell me that they're going to put Michael Cole out there? Holy Moses, for fuck's sakes. Anyway, it could have went a lot better, to say the least. So the Hardys defeat Gallows and Anderson. This is just what I feared. I say it in my Mania review. You can hear me say it. Please don't treat them as a normal tag team. Could they do something? Establish their characters? No, of course not. Just put them out there for a straightforward tag match with no fanfare. It's almost like it's so predictable, it's almost laughable. You just know that they're not going to do anything with them. It's what kills me. This is why I wasn't even really looking forward to the Hardys. I had heard the rumors, but I was like, this is why I know that it's no use. They have the Dudleys come back, they had Rob Van Dam come back, they have all these guys come back, and they don't do jack shit with them. They have no idea what they're doing anymore. They book these guys just like they're just any other guys on the roster. To them, Jeff Hardy and Sami Zayn, it's almost like they're equals, I suppose. Because there's little to no fanfare. Hopefully, the Hardys get a way bigger reaction to the Dudleys, and since they're so big on reactions these days, well, there you go. Maybe that's what's going to keep their heads above water. And plus, they've already won the title, so at least that probably means they think a little bit higher of them. Neville defeated Mustafa Ali. Who the fuck is this guy? I don't understand. They have 205 Live, right? So why do they bother? They go through all the trouble of changing the color of the ropes to put this show on. But then why even have 205 Live? Who is watching 205 Live? And can we talk about this for a minute? The argument that me and Cameron Morales were having an argument on Facebook with a bunch of jobbers. On Facebook, they're trying to say that nobody, we were trying to say that no one's even excited for this NXT Orlando. Now, I know NXT and 205 Live are totally separate properties, but 205 Live and NXT are pretty similar when you think about it, right? They're both, got that indie vibe going on. It's all about a bunch of flips and dips and skips and utter fucking bullshit. Well, here's the thing. If mostly less than 2 million people watch Raw, now, with that in mind, that's their main show. That's their flagship show. That's the show that everybody watches it. They watch it more than SmackDown because it's Raw, and they've been conditioned for years to believe that Raw is the best show. So then you've got the network. In the U.S., they have roughly not even 2 million subs to the network. Now, you've got a bunch of people who don't even watch NXT on the network. They're just watching for the pay-per-views or classic content, such as myself. So, there's no argument here. NXT cannot have that much of an audience. Now, they talk about sold-out crowds and stuff for NXT Orlando. That doesn't fucking matter. It really doesn't. You have a sold-out crowd. Okay, well, look at the size of the Mania crowd, but there's still nobody watching Raw every week. I don't know where people are getting these arguments. No one gives a shit about NXT and 205 Live. The only people that do it, these numbskulls in the audience, chanting, "This is awesome," and CM Punk every week. Those are your NXT fans. Probably the worst fans. People that you wouldn't even want to talk to on the street. Anyway, so you had Neville. I like the way how he did this at the end. He wasn't going to give the fans the red arrow because that would be the babyface thing to do. So he makes them tap out to the rings of sound. But once again, who the fuck is Mustafa Ali? Who is this guy? He's just a nobody jobber. Just comes out and that's it. Who is this jobber? There's no story behind. You don't watch 205 Live, you don't know them. So keep that shit on 205 Live. Why is it on Raw? If you already have a separate show, why is it on? Why is it on here? Why is it on Raw? Vince McMahon comes out and he introduces Kurt Angle as the new general manager. My God, McMahon is looking old as fuck. So Angle comes out. He says he's happy to be here. That's it. That's the in-ring promo. Now, I agree with what was said on Raw. Probably James Caldwell or something who said it. He says that at least he didn't try to say that they were going to make Raw great again or that he was going to try to turn the show around. They don't even believe it themselves anymore. So that's also refreshing to know. So the Revival now debuts. We're always going to have the NXT acts that are going to come. The Revival, everyone's excited. They defeat New Day. Okay, so here, I want people to tell me in their own words, you know, why WC? Why is the Revival deserving here? What have they done? What's their character? Why should we give a shit about the NXT? I see the Revival. I know, I'm not saying these guys are not talented, but I look at the Revival and I say to myself, why should anybody pay attention to these guys? Why somebody from the outside looking in who hasn't watched a product in years, why should they be into a team like the Revival? I'm still waiting for these responses. Enzo and Cass are backstage with Angle. They say that they want to be #1 contenders. What were the Hardys doing in the match? It was funny with Angle. You know, he wasn't really getting Enzo and Cass's shtick. You know, and they played off of that, so it was enjoyable. We got to see flashes of Angle's goofiness and stuff. Like, a little bit of the nerdy personality that he used to have. So that was enjoyable. At least all I can say is at least that they showed Angle backstage. Remember when they used to do this with Shane McMahon last year? They would show Shane once and then he'd disappear for the rest of the show. At least they got past that shit. So you had Sasha, Bayley, and Dana defeating Emma, Nia Jax, and Charlotte. Just throw a bunch of women together and there you go, right? So what happened to Emma Lita? Now Emma is just, jobbing out in a 6-man tag. What happened to this huge push? Video packages of, this evolution of Emma into Emma Lita. They gave up on that. They realized that it was a bad idea and they abandoned ship. How many times have they done this? Remember when they kept pulling the plug on Fandango? They weren't even sure if they were going to do it or not. That was also what they were doing with, I think, Brackus. Remember the German wrestler that was supposed to feud with Bret Hart? Remember they were going to do something with him. They also had video packages and stuff, and then they finally just gave up. That's pretty much what they're doing here. Emma just comes back as herself and she loses a tag match. What the hell was the point of putting all those video packages together just to basically throw her into a 6-man tag? After Mania, what was the point? They just pulled the plug. They don't even trust themselves with these ideas. So it's like when fans look at this and they see a complete mess of a product, why should they watch 3 hours of this garbage? It wouldn't even be worth it to watch 2 hours of this garbage, let alone even 1 hour of this garbage. Angle's backstage and Sami Zayn wants to be Angle's best friend, and you can see that Angle was like, oh God, I would have been the same way. Get that fucking jobber away from me. Holy shit. I don't understand why people are so into Sami Zayn. The guy comes off just looking like a goofball, no personality. They give him like this Mr. Nice Guy gimmick. It's just totally lame. It's a talented guy. I keep saying that there's a bunch of these guys. Oh, they're talented guys and everything. Yeah, but they're not meant to be stars. There's talented guys on the indies. It doesn't mean that they're going to be big stars one day. You know, I'm sure every wrestler works hard. There's a couple of lazy ones, but most of these guys try the hardest they can because, well, this is their career, and they want to try to get as far as they can. But not everybody's going to make it. That's like the shit that I said about Cody Rhodes. Every wrestler thinks that they're going to make it. That doesn't mean they're going to be at the top. Not everybody deserves to be a world champion. Not everybody looks like a star. Not everybody is cut out to be a star. And none of the fans want to realize this. If it was up to a lot of these goofball fans, they'd be handing world titles to Sami Zayn for work ethic. Get the fuck out of here. I don't understand how people view these guys. They think that, you know, this is like a world champion. They think Sami Zayn can headline a WrestleMania. This is why Undertaker and Roman Reigns headline Mania, not a guy like Sami Zayn. That's why he didn't even make it onto the main show. So Angle makes a match between Mahal and Zayn. It's probably the world's worst match I've ever heard of. You know, yeah, that will put asses in the seats, right? Zayn and Mahal. Why did they even bring back Jinder Mahal? The guy looks like he's, you know, been working out a lot more. The guy is jacked, but still, it's like they already saw the first time around that this guy was not really cut out to be a star. They're trying again, and they're even less motivated. So why even bother with this guy? Why even bother putting him out there, giving him a go? They've already given him enough goes. It's time to fucking stop already. It's a joke. They team him up with Rusev. They put him by himself. They put him in an imaginary rock band. At what point do we say, okay, I look at Mahal and there's just, you don't see a star. You really don't. You look at the guy and you're like, well, this is just another guy, basically. You know, this would probably cut it in NXT or Ring of Honor or TNA, but for WWE, I don't think so. You know, and they're keeping him around. All they're doing is jobbing him out. I know, you know, they feel that they need jobbers, but what's the point? They're paying this guy to just be a goof. You had Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, you know, again. When are they just going to let Brock talk? And enough with Paul Heyman already? This shit gives me a headache every single time he comes out there. My name is Paul Heyman. Okay already. You know, I never got this shtick with Paul Heyman. It's the same cookie-cutter thing once in a while. This guy used to actually be, you know, entertaining to listen to. But every single goddamn time he comes out there, it's the same shtick over and over. So they challenge Reigns to come out there. They want to have a match right that second. Braun Strowman comes out. You know, I don't really get this. There's no physicality, no nothing. Reigns doesn't even come out. It's like, why is anybody even supposed to care? Two guys staring at at each other. Why is anybody supposed to give a fuck about this? They don't give you any reason to get excited. Okay, so, you know, here's a little bit of a teaser, and that's it. This is the Raw after Mania. We should be excited. You know, we should be jumping out in shock and awe. What happened? They have a good Mania, and that's it. You know, it's time to, you know, ride off into the sunset. Yo, we gave you effort the previous night. We're not going to try anymore. That's kind of what they're saying right here. We're not even going to. We don't give a fuck really. We just want the big numbers for Mania, and then we're just going to wash our hands and, you know, not even care anymore. Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe attack Jericho during a promo. They put him through the table. They take him out of the tag match later on. Cesaro and Sheamus defeat Enzo and Cass. I like Cesaro and Sheamus as a team, but it's like I don't even really see this going anywhere. All we see is just tag matches. They don't even try to elaborate on these guys. They tried doing that. I saw it at another time when they were putting them together, Cesaro and Sheamus, but they're not even attempting to give these guys personalities anymore. As I spoke about in my Mania review, it's the same thing with the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. when he won it. All these guys they're just doomed to nothingness. They win the Battle Royal, and that's it for them. They're pretty much, at that point, they're cursed. They're like, you're not going to go anywhere in your career. You win, and that's pretty much it for you. Decent enough match. I mean, Cesaro and Sheamus against the Hardys. It can be a good match. So they have the Zayn and Mahal match. Zayn just beats Mahal like in a couple of minutes. This is the Raw after Mania, folks. What a great show. Then the final match, Rollins and Finn Balor returns. And they defeat Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens. Is it me, or does it barely feel like Samoa Joe's even there? Joe's not even on Mania. He's such a big star. He's not even on Mania. You don't even trust him to have a match at Mania. He's just thrown into a random tag match. How is, all of a sudden we're shifting back to Rollins and Joe? Oh, we're going to take a break from the Rollins-Joe feud and concentrate on just Rollins and Triple H. It's like, how are your brains supposed to process this bullshit? All of a sudden, it's just Triple H is just gone magically. He's disappeared. He doesn't exist anymore. He made him put his wife through the table last night, and all of a sudden, we're just supposed to completely forget about what happened. The match didn't even happen. Let's not even talk about the match. It disappeared from our memories. What a joke. Really. And now we're going to move on. Finn Balor is back. And who gives a fuck other than these retarded fans in the audience about that motherfucker? Those idiots wanted to see Finn Balor, this guy who's not even the average height of a fucking U.S. male, and they want him to beat Undertaker, a guy that's a full foot taller than him, and weighs more than 100 pounds more than he does, and this is who they wanted to see beat Undertaker in the last match and retire him. And this guy, he doesn't even return as the Demon. He just comes back as himself. So we're supposed to get excited about a plain-looking goofball? Like, this is what I don't understand. What is so great about Finn Balor? I don't really understand it. It's the stomping that people enjoy. It's like, doesn't Cesaro do that stomp? Paul London did that stomp. We're supposed to get excited. This guy is stomping. Stomp was a show in New York where they would use weird things as instruments. They would, bang on shit and make noise. That's what a stomp was. Now we're supposed to get excited for the coup de grace. The coup de grace for me was when Finn Balor wasn't in this shit for months, and it was still a shitty show. But now it's going to be an even shittier show, because now they're gonna push this goofball because the morons cheer for him. Finn Balor is the god. He has no personality, no nothing. The guy has no build to speak of, no personality, no charisma, no look. And this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Finn Balor is a god to the YWC. What a fucking joke. He comes out there, and it's almost like you would think that a fan wandered onto the entrance. No, seriously, show this to somebody. Don't even tell them, be like, oh, look at the main event here on Raw, and they'll show Finn Balor coming out. I guarantee that somebody hasn't watched in years, they'd probably think a fan wandered onto the fight. I'm not even trying to be funny here. I'm just saying, he looks like a nobody. He is a nobody. This is a jobber that they put out there, disguising him as a main eventer. They put him out there to please the fans. It's all about pleasing these idiotic fans. Their ratings are going down, and this is who they're trying to present to us as a serious main eventer. Guys, I look at this show and I'm like, the Hardys return, Angle return. They did something ballsy, having Reigns beat Taker. I will monitor what's going on, but this show is just, it's hard to watch. They really have no interest in making an exciting show. It's the Raw after Mania, for God's sakes. After what they did last night, they should have had all the energy in the world and channeled it. But I knew. This is why I begged them with Roman Reigns. I said to please not fuck it up, because I knew that they would. Been watching way too long now, and in recent years I've seen their mentality. They really have no interest. They are on autopilot. Seriously, they just put cruise control on for each show, and it's the same format week after week. And Angle being the GM is going to be the same thing like Shane McMahon being the commissioner, Daniel Bryan being there. It's going to be the same garbage. It's no different. It's the same show with a different flavor, a few little extra trimmings. And it's sad because people are buying this as like it actually being good, of it actually being a change. This is not a change at all. It's the same shit. Alright, motherfuckers. So, not saying this is the last Raw review, but I don't count on one being here next week. I'll give my thoughts maybe, but a full review, it really depends. It depends on how good the show is. Until next time, motherfuckers, this is the Sellout signing off.